Humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful, and we're beautiful, and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, then you are an enemy of the New World Order and Satanism. They want us shut down because we have the Spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't already know, but the video game journalism industry is no longer fit for purpose. While at one time they may have been the information tool that you went to gauge whether a game was worth your money or not, unfortunately, what has become painfully clear, especially over the last couple months, is that not only can these people not be trusted, but they're not even making an attempt anymore. So with Assassin's Creed Shadows, their articles before the game release were basically cookie cutter. It's a return to form for Assassin's Creed. It's a return to form. It's a return to form. We've seen this with Dragon Age: The Veilguard. But I want to show you something. And by the way, I've gone and looked. These are real. And it's not just a thumbnail. It's not just a picture. I'm going to pull up the article from The Gamer, which is the first one here. Assassin's Creed Shadows Review. A feudal return to form. Right. So this is 3 days ago before the game releases, right? So this is 9 hours ago. Assassin's Creed Shadows. 2-hour credits point to a broken games industry. So, on one hand, you may say, well, it's two different people. They work for the same company. The message is clear. Before the game comes out, they will glaze a game, giving it 9s and 10s out of 10s in order to trick you into giving up your money. After the game comes out, then comes the article saying, well, this game isn't great, it's got these flaws. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're trying to, on one hand, get in good with a lot of these companies to try to generate sales, and then on the back end come in and be like, well, we're real journalists, we're cutting to the chase here, we're cutting through the BS, we're getting to the heart of it, we will criticize these companies. The problem is that it comes across as disingenuous and inauthentic and duplicitous. The reality about this game is that they went way, way, way too far. And anyone, and I don't just mean a fan of Assassin's Creed, I mean anyone could tell you that they made a series of bad ideas and then decided to make them worse. How do you mess up a feudal tale in Japan with the Assassin's Creed name? I still don't know. It's incredible, to be honest. Because the project basically forms itself. And I've repeated this over and over again. I've said this ad nauseum. That you, in the game development space, have access to more tools than you've ever had. Meaning that back in the 90s, there really wasn't the wealth of surveys, forums, video essays that are hours long, there wasn't the wealth of content that we have today that informs what people like and what they don't like. You have that for free at your fingertips, and you choose. It's not that you accidentally fumble into this. You choose out of spite, out of hubris, out of delusions of grandeur, out of virtue signaling and adherence to a left-wing orthodox and ridiculous degenerate LGBTQ cult. You have determined that you're going to decide what's right and wrong. You're going to decide what sells and doesn't sell. And you're going to cope with yourself if you don't sell the product by saying that the customers were bad anyway. I didn't want them to buy my product. Well, I'm here to tell you that you have used up every inch of the rope that you've been given. You've used up every inch of it. You have nowhere left to go. Now companies are laying off entire teams of people. The gaming press can't save you. They're humiliated, disgraced. People laugh at them, they joke at them, they don't take them seriously. And now they're at the point where if they give a game a 9 or 10 out of 10, more people are inclined not to buy it. Because just wait a couple days till the game comes out, and then they're going to be the articles saying that the game was actually bad. They did this with Veilguard, they've done this with this game. And then, let me just be honest with you, brutally honest, forthright. LGBTQ is disgusting. It's abnormal, it's weird, it's gross. Some people may disagree with that, but those people are perpetually online, and to be honest, statistically insignificant. The people who find this appealing, this attractive, the people that look at this and go, yeah, you know what? I'm going to buy the game more now because some mannish looking freak character decided to kiss the gay black samurai. Whoever thought this was a good idea, that person should be publicly fired in a way that is probably one of the most humiliating things they've ever gone through in their entire life. And if it's a team of people that suggested it, the same. There is no universe where somebody in good faith sat down and thought, this is really what gamers want. They want to play as a black man in feudal Japan who's gay, and his romance options are a man, or a married woman. I mean, Nobunaga's sister, I think it was, or his daughter, I think it was his sister. Nobody wants that. I mean, there is so much wrong with your thinking and your execution and the way that you approach this and the monetization and the fact that the graphics look good sometimes and then other times it looks like garbage. The story, let me just break this down real quick. The story is so bad that Asmongold gave it a 6. And this is a guy that gave Avowed a 7. This is a guy that gave Dragon Age the Veilguard a 7. And this guy's leaning more towards a 6 game. Do you understand how bad you have to be to get a 6 from Asmongold? Seriously. You have to be pretty damn bad. This guy just instinctually gives games higher scores because he doesn't really play many games. He's played like World of Warcraft for the majority of his life. He hasn't really been one to delve into other games, which I think is perfect for his channel because now he can experience all those games with his audience. But the fact of the matter remains that the gaming press, while people didn't trust them before, they still had an air of authority. They still had an air of, well, we're the gaming press. They did. They had a little bit of it. But that's been eviscerated. And now an attempt isn't even being made anymore. Now it's pretty much crystal clear this is AI generated, cookie cutter, copy and paste, generic, drivel process bullshit. And unfortunately, this is just the pipeline to the sewer, and eventually all of these people are going to be flushed. Now, there is an upside here. As games journalists go by the wayside and, have to cry on Twitter for donations to, please subscribe to my Substack. Gamers, more or less, have stepped in to fill the role as these people are vacated, as the bowels of the gaming industry are vacated, and these gaming journalists are flushed down the toilet. Gamers have stepped in and given scores. And now, like with movies, people trust gamer scores and independent reviewers a lot more. See, the thing is, and this is crazy, but when I explain it to you, you'll understand. Asmongold is not an expert on games. I think he would be the first to admit that. There's certain things that he knows. He's within the industry, but he's not an expert. I mean, this is a guy that gave Avowed a 7. Okay, this is a guy that gave Veilguard a 7. Okay, which is insane to me, by the way. Veilguard is a 2. If you're being generous, like if I'm being as generous as I can be, it's a 2. It's a 2 out of 10 game. It's, man, I don't even want to go into Veilguard, but the fact is that even people like him are more trusted than the gaming press with all their so-called credentials and accolades. And, I work for Kotaku. It's like, even with all that, people just trust Asmongold and other people more. And if you want to know how bad this game is doing, if you want to know how terrible the story is, just wait a moment. I'm going to pull up something that I think a lot of people will be surprised by. A lot of people may be surprised by this, but everyone's favorite slop tuber, Moist Critical. When Moist Critical comes out and says your game isn't great and that he doesn't like it, when that guy comes out, understand, Moist Critical is never going to criticize wokeness or identity politics or anything like that. He avoids it like it's the germs that he's irrationally afraid of. The fact is that this guy is more amenable to that sort of stuff that people like myself find to be disgusting and abhorrent and offensive. He is more amenable to that than most people. And even he didn't like the game. That's what I'm saying. If you have managed to make Moist Critical say your game isn't good, when he is basically your target audience, you failed. You have absolutely, undeniably failed. And so I wanted to throw that in because I do think that it's critically, crucially important. I do think that it does matter to look at the whole, to look at somebody like Moist Critical. And I usually don't recommend Moist Critical content because it's low IQ pothead slop. But when he comes out and goes, yeah, guys, this game isn't great. And he's the like, this guy is a dope-smoking, low IQ, degenerate, perpetually online streamer retard that I imagine he gets most of his news from Reddit, while also saying how bad Reddit is. It's like, oh, Reddit is. I mean, it's just. This guy is like an entire cauldron of just shit and degeneracy and bad ideas, but even he doesn't like it, and that's my point. You look at other people who may be more reasonable, and they don't like it either. Most of the content creators don't like this. Even Young Yeah did a video before the game released when he got a 6-hour play window. He didn't like it. So you have failed on every metric, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. I haven't even gone into the details of the game, which I'm going to do in another video. But that boss fight is probably one of the most embarrassing things that I've ever seen. I'll explain more in another video. But trust me, when you see it, you'll be embarrassed for them, even as much as you don't like them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Dragon Age of the Veilguard has competition, I think, for the worst game of the decade. Now, I don't know what the worst game of the decade is, but I mean, it's sad that yet another major IP that was once beloved has been reduced to what it's been reduced to by a bunch of Karens, a bunch of low IQ activists. And I actually agree with something that Asmund said. It was clipped around. People were spreading it to say that he's a misogynist. But he said that most of society's problems can be attributed to Karens. Nagging, obnoxious Karens. And I agree with that to an extent. And he said middle-aged white women. I agree with that to an extent. However, I'm also aware that obnoxious, loudmouth, low IQ Karen black women are also on that list. I've also seen The View, so I know that Karens come in all sort of flavors, all sort of colors, and sizes. Some fat, some skinny. I've seen The View enough to know that Karen really shouldn't be reserved for just white women. Karen really should be reserved for all of these moral finger wagging nags. Like, for example, if you want to know the perfect example, it would be Sunny. What's her name? Sunny Hostin. Sunny Hostin. Yeah, that's who she is.
Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism, that DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
We'll be right back.
Yes, by the way, for those who don't know who this woman is, she has for years been a massive, massive, massive virtue signaler, a finger-wagging Karen. A finger-wagging, I'm morally superior to you. And the punchline is, she actually got a DNA test, and it found out that her ancestors owned slaves. Oh my gosh. It's unreal. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for supporting the channel. We have more to talk about as it relates to Assassin's Creed Shadows. It is the gift that keeps on giving. It is the content goldmine, because these people decided to release an abomination at their final hour. Like Ubisoft, their stock is plummeted again. We tried to warn them, and that's all we can do. And then document it in the hopes that somebody listens, somebody pays attention the next time, and maybe avoids some of the same pitfalls and mistakes. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.